Welcome to another episode of Where's Wallo. I'm right here with the Grammy-nominated extraordinary individual. I'm talking about this brother. I'm talking about this dude don't just do things for the community. He makes sure, his intentions is just to add value to our people. This guy, I'm not gonna say he's a boxer. He probably think he know how to box just because he got a boxing academy for young brothers. He got the book coming out next year, Vivid Isaiah. I'm talking about this dude is just doing anything. And right now, I don't know where you at. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. Listen to Chin Up, listen to the Biscuits, but you gotta listen to something important. And this is where it all started. Jackie's triumph is very important. And it's important because me and him got a connection about that. But what I'm gonna do is tell you right now, Wake Up Super is everywhere, go check it out. But before we get into that, I need to know, you're 6 years old, your mom, she's doing all she can. She's educating y'all the best way she can. Yeah. She's putting everything in y'all. Dad was in prison. How was that? How was that?
Man, I remember vividly the calls. First it's the calls, like you would get the call from Pops, you're receiving a collect call from, Mule Creek Prison, and so with Pops locked up, everything became that much more important, right? You getting instructions at 6 years old, like you the man of the house, like take care of your mom. Like, what 6-year-old gets told to take care of their mother? It's not time. They supposed to take care of us. But with Pops locked up, I remember my idea of what manhood was what I would try to, pursue or achieve, right? Not knowing that my Pops, although he's sending us pictures, he chest out here, jail swole, upper body only, you know what I'm saying? Legs skinny to the mud, but Pops is swole, so I'm thinking Pops is a goon, not knowing that he turns out to be, one of the most intelligent, most affectionate, present fathers once he came home. But before that, I'm like, well, what he looks like in there, I'm gonna try to be that out here. So before Pops was locked up, me, Sir, Davion, and my oldest brother, Ron, we was active, and too young to really be like active in the streets, but on the yard, in the apartments and, on our block, we was fighting all the time, and me more than Sir and Davion, and you could ask them that when you talk to them, but that was me trying to be what I thought Pops was, you feel me? And then, a couple years go by, my mom is super concerned, like my son is, getting in a lot of trouble, but what she does, it's two sides, right? You got outside and then in the home. In the home, mom is like super intentional about, sitting us down and teaching us everything she knows. So from 6 years old, she sat us around the piano and taught us music theory. Me, Sir, and Davion. And all our lives, we were like a singing group, so to speak, And, but it's that duality. It's like being black, We know when the code switch. We know when to be like, okay, we putting our professional hat on. Yeah. But if we around a different element, we know to put on our, our armor, our guard, So the same thing applied to us in the house. It's love, it's gospel music.
Yes.
It's a structure, but it doesn't change the fact that when we stepped outside, we had to deal with that element. So, but we were raised, to be excellent at what we did. We were raised to represent the family. My uncle, Andrew, my mom's oldest brother, was, Prince's last bass player. He played with Shaka Khan for years. He played with everybody in gospel from the Winans to Fred Hammond, to anybody you could think of, to Destiny's Child, just random, And so we had big shoes to fill from jump. But Inglewood was our real training grounds to figure out who we were and what it was gonna mean when we did put that music out, so. But I couldn't pay enough respect to my mother, rest in peace, my father who did come home and was super present, and all the examples we had, and the city, and Inglewood, So even though we on the East Coast right now, paying love to the city, so.
What come to mind, and how do you think Mom Jackie? What come to mind?
Oof. Incredible, big shoes. just big shoes. Like, my mother, just to put it in perspective, she wrote a song called My Help, one of the biggest gospel songs in the 90s. And the main line is, all of my help coming from the Lord. And it was recorded by her first, then CeCe Winans in Brooklyn Tabernacle, then some major choirs in Africa. And, but that happened after she turned down a tour with Stevie Wonder because she had to stay home and take care of us. Mm-hmm. And Stevie Wonder is her favorite artist of all time. She taught us Stevie Wonder all our lives. But in the name of being the mother that she felt like we needed, she turned it down, you know. So to witness somebody be that great in the home, you know, because, you know, so many times you hear stories of people like, you know, oh yeah, they was a star, but they don't their family at all. They don't got no respect where they actually from. She was every bit of great in the home and as a human being, and then once that was intact, then took it to the world, whether it be writing gospel songs, whether it be, you know, writing books, you know, mentoring. She was a mentor to us and everybody else, you know. So it's just the epitome of greatness. And as much as we're sad, we gotta be grateful, you know, because I don't get to choose my mom, like nobody does, but I couldn't choose a better one, you feel me? I would have never chosen to lose her that way, you know, in an accident and not knowing that our time was limited in that way, you know, but I still gotta be grateful in the grand scheme of things. And spiritually, I don't believe we lose them in the way that, you know, we tend to make it seem. It's been times since she passed where I could not just feel her, because that's something that people would say, oh, well, you might have made that up in your head. Like, no, like I might look at a picture of her on the piano and be trying to figure something out, and then literally say to the picture of Mom's, like, what's that next chord?
Yeah. And
then just play something, and it's perfect. You know what I'm saying? The next thing I play after being like, Mom, what's the next? And I play it, and I just break down, because it's like, this is like, it's not a guess. You know what I'm saying? It's not an assumption that maybe they're here. No, you know. So I feel grateful. You know what I'm saying? When I'm not feeling sad, when I, you know, because I still think the caller went something funny. You know what I'm saying? But I still feel grateful that, you know, that she poured so much into me, because I'm a huge piece of her. When they see me, like, and she was a gangster. When we turned 14, we stopped getting whoopings. Moms would just fire on us. like what, big pop, you know, yeah. Take off, you know. And she was like that, and some of it was out of love. She wouldn't really do it to hurt us mad. Like, it'd be in the chest, but it was just like, you know, y'all gonna know who I am and y'all gonna respect me. And she commanded that respect. And once she got that, she gave out so much love. And that's why you see me move how I move, or Sir move how he moves, you know, because that's the example we had, you know.
Well, rest in peace to Mom Jackie. And you know what's so deep is that's my mom, Jackie.
Wow. Her name is Jackie?
Yeah, Jacqueline Peoples, Jackie.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So
wow.
It's just deep, you know, understanding that. And everybody, you know, if your mom named Jacqueline, they call her Jackie, you know, whatever way it go. But it's like, rest in peace to your mom, and she did a great job. But I want to know, like, growing up in Inglewood, you know me, anytime I heard Inglewood, I heard some banging stuff. It came out bang, like, you know, Mac 10 was a hardcore stepper for Inglewood. Mac 10. Sure. But you know, it's like, how, because I want to know this, because I'm going to just be honest with you. I wasn't strong enough to fight off the temptation for me growing up to not be involved in the street culture, because it seemed like in the hood, we take ownership, not just in the hood, a lot of times us as black people take ownership of street culture.
For sure.
So it's hard for when your parents or your parent telling you not to be a part of this type of idea, but every time you leave the house to go to school, go to the store, that's all you see.
Immediate.
Like, what made you so strong to fight off the temptation that all of us, that's available to all of us, to say, you know what, I want to embrace my individualism and I want to be me, because I got my brothers, and I think it's more important to be me, to be smart.
Right.
How was you able to do that?
Well, first and foremost, we take on the parts of the street culture that benefit us. It's like, you know, they say don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? The street culture isn't all bad. We just get this black and white version of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Any community you look at, everybody organizes. Everybody bands together and has a name for their group.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if it's not Bloods, it could be the chess club. It could be, you know,
we're
gonna have a T-shirt. It's gonna be a logo. Humans have a natural inclination or instinct to band together. So the pieces of it that serve us, we take it.
Yeah.
Like, and our ability to do that comes from, you know, older brothers being like, okay, well, one, we not gonna let y'all be no punks, like, period. So it was never just like, y'all stay completely out of this. No, we walk with them too.
Yeah.
These are guys too. But because you raised in a way, like, especially growing up fighting, where it's like, they know you ain't scared. Because I don't believe in being a coward by any sense of the word. As long as they know they can't impose their will on you, then you don't gotta get peer pressured into doing the parts that don't serve us. You know what I'm saying? There's parts where it's like, nah, me rolling with you would mean me throwing away my life, and I got more to live for.
Yeah.
So, but it's also big shout out to the people that just didn't let me. Like, if I took credit for it, I'd be lying to you. You know, it's people that's like, nah, bro, that ain't your role. You know, and so, you know, big shout out to the Sean Chisholms, big shout out to the Miko Marks, the Ron Rons, you know, and people like me come from, we tend to be the second generation. The first generation actually did that. Like, because, like, for example, my pops was locked up when I was 6. His first son, who has a different mother, my brother Ron, he was 16. You know what I'm saying? So from 14 to 18, my pops was gone. Those are the real years when it's like, okay, you stepping off the porch.
Yeah.
You know, so you can only get the D Smokes if you have the Ron Rons, if you have the Big Chizzes, the people that did it, that see to it that you have options. Because ultimately we did get tested.
Yeah.
Cars did pull up. People did say, oh, we own y'all. Who y'all think y'all are? Like, we did have to, like, scrap or make the phone call like, hey, they said Whoop-de-Whoop is coming up to the school, you know, looking for somebody after school. And they like, oh, we be there too. You know, they gonna get what they looking for. You know what I'm saying? So I came from, like, it was just me. Sometimes it was people that was like, nah, we sending you home. Even though you tough enough to stay around, no, go home. And it's people that did it when they didn't have an option and then gave us the option. So I can't take all the credit like, yeah, I was just smart enough to, you know, nah. But my parents, you know, strategically had us involved in a lot of stuff. So some of it is, you know, idle time is what does they say? Idle time is the mother of all, the devil's playground, something, you know, mother of all mischief or something. So my parents put us in everything: baseball, basketball, karate, you know, chess club, you know, Bible study.
Everywhere.
My mother was a minister of music, so we was at church 3 evenings out the week, you know, and Sunday, you know, so that was a big part of it too, you know. We didn't have time to do that. We was, you know, martial arts champions. So all the fighting before Pops got home, when he got home, he was like, all right, y'all gotta get in karate, boxing, all that stuff. So, but yeah, shout out to, I can't take credit, it's the environment, it's the people that care.
Yeah, shout out to, I personally know a few brothers from the family out there in Inglewood. Shout out to y'all, man. And
Yes, sir.
Shout out to everybody, you know, all from all the different sets in California that's trying to figure it out. A lot of people was born and they wasn't sworn in based off of geographical locations. And I know sometimes, you know, a lot of people was waking up to understanding. And some people didn't know, they was led to deviate from the foundation of what it was supposed to be about. But just, I'm not here to judge nobody, all my brothers.
Right.
I just hope that we find different ways. We find ways to agree to disagree and find solutions and create a better environment for our community. Now, this is what it's like, cause, you know, knowing that you had so many different options, and I ain't gonna knock your boxing skills again, but I'm gonna just say,
hey man, I'm 3-0.
It's hard. That's why
I'm undefeated.
But see, I'm gonna say this though. I don't know if you was fighting cab drivers. We don't know. We don't really know like who
man,
you was.
them boys was strong.
I don't know, but
I had to beat them boys off.
Sometimes it be older dudes that be strong, but they be washed up. They just
wasn't
know
old.
They can't. Oh, they was young.
This
Huh?
was a youngster.
All right, well, I'm not gonna hate on this boxing game. I usually hate on
Come
people boxing games, but I'm gonna say this.
But no, 3-0. That ain't nothing to be compared to these guys.
Yeah, these legends. But it's something to start off with. And you keep
for sure.
going.
And I mean, and any time you step in the ring, that guy is not there to be nice. So if you win, anybody that does it, any win you've taken, it counts. I've seen it,
So as I look at it, I say, you had all these playing all the sports, you playing all that. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people see you now, right? I need you to share with the viewer what the journey was look like, because a lot of people love your glory, but they don't know how to study your story.
Yeah.
What was the story like? Because for you to be Grammy nominated, for you to be on all these different people albums, for you to be just making moves, you and your brother just making moves. What about them times when nobody's seen you?
Man.
How did the dedication look like to get right here?
Yeah. Man, I lost the homie Chiz. Like, one, I didn't want to be a rapper first. Like, to keep it a buck. Like, I've been playing piano, I've been producing since I was 10 years old. I've been, writing music since I was 8 years old or so. And rapping more so in high school. But my homie Chiz was a rapper. Like, the nigga could spit in the 8th grade, like won a talent show spitting. He won second place. I won first just because I'm playing classical music. You know what I'm saying? But so Chiz, he used to write he used to write his raps, I would produce. Then, we got signed to publishing deals. I wrote and produced a song called Never for Jaheim. And it was like #1 on adult R&B charts, and we saw a little bit of money, and they didn't call us back to write his next single or somebody else's next single. And something else happened to where we wrote a song for Mary J. Blige and whoever was on the management at the time. And no shout out, no slight to Mary J, because we've since met and she's a sweetheart. But the song that we wrote, the title of the song ended up being, and they heard the song and they said she liked it. It ended up being the name of her album and the title song, but they had got somebody else to write it, And so it's moments like that when you like, oh, this industry, as long as I'm not the artist and I'm not determining how I get outside and push my own music, I'm subject to somebody being like politicking me out of situations.
Yeah.
So that happened, and then that's when I looked at the homie Chiz, and I was like, bro, we gonna put out our own music. He's like, let's run it. And so then we was brainstorming like names for the group, and Park Circle was the block that we lived on in Inglewood, where my parents owned a home and let us build a studio in their garage. So right on the block, it was the name of the street, Park Circle, and that was our group. And we did music with Glasses Malone. Mac 10 tried to sign us, but at the same time, the year we put out the first project, Chiz got diagnosed with lymphoma, a form of cancer. And we had a second project that was on the way, and he got real sick and then ultimately passed. So then, this is in my mid-20s, I'm left with a choice like, okay, is rap something I do without the homie? You know what I'm saying? Because I would write my verses, and sometimes he'll be like, that's dope. Other times he'll be like,
that's trash.
That's trash. He'll be like, smoke, that ain't it, bro.
Yeah.
And I had to respect it because that's what he did. In the same way that moms taught me how to play, he was like, nah, rap comes from somewhere. It's about something. And of course he let me put my own style on it. It wasn't like he was trying to make me rap like him, but he knew what was good and what wasn't. And so, so when he passed, I had to reflect like, do I do this by myself? Do I rap without Chiz? Or do I go back to just be like, I'm gonna be a producer and put another artist on? And the next song I did was called Here We Go Again. And that shit got so much love. And that's when I started understanding the importance of visuals. So the video to that, people started taking me seriously. It was a buzz around the city.
Did you direct it?
No.
Or you had somebody else?
Homegirl named Erica
Wrote the
Ng.
treatment? Okay, shout out to Erica.
Shout out to Erica Ng. And that was the start of it all. And since then, it's been years where, you know, we see other people go. When I did Here We Go Again, I was putting on events I had a storefront in Inglewood. So I modeled my whole movement after Nip.
Okay.
Rest
in peace to Nip.
Yeah, rest in peace. He was on Slauson and Crenshaw, and I was on La Brea and Manchester, you know. And our cities are technically complete rivals, you know what I'm saying? Especially the section of Inglewood I grew up in. I grew up in the families. And then, you know, he's from neighborhood. He grew up in the 6-0s. We're technically like, our areas are rivals. He pushed the whole gangbanging line. I'm more so positive, but unapologetic about being like, I'm positive, but I'm from this section. And in LA, being from this section is enough for people to be like, yeah, nah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but all that said, I modeled my movement after his. Like, oh, he got a storefront, we opening up. You know, had our merch, had our things going. We did events out of a barbershop size space, and we had the whole block sold up, you know, on Manchester and Market, and in between Market and La Brea. And out of that space, you know, Terrace Martin then came through there.
Yeah.
Sir came through there. We was working out of there when TDE picked him up, you know. Alex Isley then been through there, Kenyon Dixon, Davion Ferris. So people who are now touring the world, you know, came through this small space. And my uncle was like, man, y'all doing the Motown thing, you know? Y'all, you Barry Gordy. I'm like, all right, whatever. But so that was the goal. And during that time in our movement, we, you know, I saw so many people go, but it had to change. I ended up losing that space, you know, and we had to, you know how God would take away stuff just so you could be light enough to fly. You know what I'm saying? So I got stripped of that space. We had a van, a 15-passenger van that we used to go to South by Southwest, go up to the Bay, do our own little tours. And, you know, I had 3 cars. I had a van, I had a 65 Mustang, springtime yellow Mustang, and I had a Honda. Still living either at my studio space or at mom's space.
But studio space is a classic spot. I know dudes that always lived in these studios.
Oh yeah. No,
that's like a classic apartment.
Now, mind you,
all purpose.
I was a single man at the time.
It was all purpose.
That was a flex. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not knocking it, but imagine LA street sweeping and having 3 cars and no driveway. So literally, I collected so many parking tickets. By the time it came time to, they was eating me alive. Pay the rent. The registration, it's paid off. But the registration was so crazy that I'm riding dirty in the van, and the van was wrapped, had our advertisement on there, the faces on there. We was hood famous and shit. Yeah. And but the homie was driving it one time, and it was a time where funds was just low. We was doing all the coolest in music, but wasn't making no bread, and homie was driving and he got pulled over. He like, they about to impound his smoke. He's like, I'm sorry. I said, it's all good. The homie flex. I said, it's all good, bro. Don't even trip. And then I looked up how much I owed, and I was like, bro,
I ain't paying for this to get out.
No. And we lost that, you know. And so it was just at a point where my mindset, I was like, all right, trying to hold everything together. Let me get my mindset right.
Yeah.
And I'm still teaching, mind you, through all this, I'm teaching Spanish. You know, at one point I'm at Westchester High. My first Spanish gig was at Inglewood High, you know, and I didn't have a full credential. That's why they did these emergency credentials. Yeah. And which lasted for a year and some change. Then they look up and be like, did you get your credential yet?
No, I'm still waiting on it. They're like, you still waiting?
Then they like, oh, well, we can't keep you. So ultimately I got my sub permit, like, and so they could bring me on as a long-term sub, and that's what got me in the classroom for a long period of time, and while doing all this stuff, and then it wasn't until I was like, look, I'm stepping away from the classroom. I might sub here and there, but I'm stepping away from the classroom to give myself enough time to be more consistent than I've ever been. Like, I'm at Battle Cat, and I showed him these 2 videos that I shot off of off of a teacher's salary. Like I will find out who owned the Red camera. I'll be like, look, I give you $1,000 cash on your off day to shoot my video with the Red camera and all your lenses. And they like, I'll take it, you know what I'm saying? Shoot the day rate. And I had 2 film festival quality music videos, like, and that was my calling card to be like, look, I'm not just one of these.
When you say film festival, not mean to cut you off.
Yeah, go.
Could you elaborate on that so the viewer can understand?
I'm talking about the cinematography was brilliant. The lighting was right. We waking up at 5 a.m. so we could start shooting that magic hour at 6 something, like cameras up and ready, like I just learned about film so that you can capture that shot and all of the variables, we getting it right, and like Erica Ng again, she did another one of my videos, but her treatments were so detailed down to during what lyric, what's gonna happen on that shot,
Damn.
And so I did that. I played that for Battle Cat. Battle Cat was like, oh, nephew, you different. You know what I'm saying? So Battle Cat literally was like, I got you. Whatever I'm on, I'm gonna put you on and I'm gonna connect you in. And then Rhythm and Flow came along because of him.
Sure.
Because of him. Like what happened was, after I had those 2 videos, I was like, all right, look, I can't do that every week. You know what I'm saying? That cost me, I gotta save up for like 2 months to even be able to afford them videos on a teacher's salary. But I had a Canon 7D and a tripod. So I could do 1-minute videos that's higher quality than an iPhone picture, but not quite that cinematic look. But on the internet as content, putting the lyrics up and rapping in English and Spanish, that distinguished me as an artist. So it went from having those 2 videos that's perfect to having one every single week. And the goal was to do it for 2 years straight without looking up.
How long did you do it every single week?
17 weeks.
You dropped a new video?
Every single week. By week 14, Rhythm and Flow hit me up like, we're seeing something that's going crazy. And by week 2.
And you was putting this on YouTube or just social media?
It was on YouTube. The song was on Spotify. And the 1-minute version, the extended version would be on YouTube. The 1-minute version was on Instagram and the song was on Spotify. I mean, not Spotify, the song was on, what's the other one? SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, okay.
SoundCloud. And so, Battle Cat got wind of those 2 videos. He sent me the original beat to We Can Freak It, Do you know
how legendary that is?
What? I knew at the time. I knew then.
Do you understand how legendary that Battle Cat is? Just like, he invented that slap.
Bro, I ran up on Battle Cat.
That boy's a legend.
In Marina Del Rey. We was having a family brunch and he was with his wife. And I ran up on him like, hey man, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I'm a rapper and I'm from Inglewood and I know who you are and I love what you do. He's like, take my number. I said, what? And I sent him those 2 videos and he hit me that night like, oh.
A beat from Battle Cat. He sent you the original.
The original beat to We Can Freak It.
You know how crazy that is? And what he told you to do?
Whatever I wanted to do. But I told him what I was doing, like rapping in English and Spanish. When I put that out, mind you, before he shared that one, the early episodes, Jill Scott shared, Tyrese shared, just a couple famous people.
The early episodes of all your videos, 17 weeks.
Yes. That series is called Run the Subtitles. It was subtitles in English when I'm rapping in Spanish. And then when I switched to when I switched to English, the subtitles was in Spanish. It was reverse. And the world picked up on it. But when I did the Battle Cat episode, a lady named DJ Moonbaby, she was like, I'm one of the producers, or her friend was one of the producers on the show that's coming up. She said, I can't tell you what network it's on. I can't tell you who's gonna be the judges.
I got you.
But it's gonna be big. Submit. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'm used to hearing stuff. Yeah. I'm just fighting against being jaded. You know what I'm saying?
From Hollywood.
Like, yeah, because I'm ready to build it at this point. I don't believe no promises. Like, let's build it, brick by brick. I'm gonna get there because I've seen people do that too. And that's what I believe in. I still feel like when you build it, all the opportunities come, right? So I'm ready to do brick by brick, but my manager, Greg, who's here, he was like, this might be the one, you know what I'm saying? Just keep submitting. Let them be the reason it don't work, not you. So I stay with the little application process. I'm still dropping the episodes. And all through the whole audition process, prior to being on the big screen and auditioning for Snoop, because there was several stages that was not on camera, I was ready to be like, man, I'm not messing with this. Because there was no season out before. We didn't know what it was gonna look like. It could have been some super corny stuff. Now you got this from Inglewood as part of that weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we couldn't have that, but I kept giving myself a shot. Mm-hmm. And the day of, man, it was like each step. You ever read the book, The Alchemist?
No, I ain't read it.
Oh, man,
you'd enjoy it. I read like a little bit of it, and my homeboy had it, and they took him to the hole, and he had to send to get his book, so.
Got you.
Not the whole thing.
Got you. But there's a quote where it's like, follow the omens, right? And each time I was ready to walk away, it was something that somebody would say, or something I would see that's like, okay, I'm supposed to be here. Like, it was literally people backstage. And the day that I performed for Snoop, when he pressed me, they had us in the back room for like 8 hours and would literally come in and give us a basket full of Subway sandwiches. Not even the 6-inch ones, the
baby joints?
The baby joints.
Oh, man.
Right? And some of the contestants was like,
I'm out.
Man, I got too much self-respect for this. And I feel like that too. Like, I respect myself too much for this. I'm already teaching. So bare minimum, I know how to get outside and make 50 grand a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I'm ready to walk out. But when we did sound check, I walked up there and DJ Head was a DJ. And that was my omen, like, all right,
that's
it's
my
a
brother,
familiar
DJ
face.
Head.
It's a familiar face. Cause I done been to homegrown when they was in the apartment in Watts, you know what I'm saying? And then when I went to Manchester and Market, they was on Market Street too, so still building. And watched the homies grow up, But when I saw him, I was like, all right, I'm gonna stay around. And mind you, they gave us beats that we didn't necessarily care for. It wasn't in line with my style, and gave us instructions. But the one of the producers said, go out there when you perform for the judges, go out there, hype up the crowd, give them a lot of energy, ask the judges some questions, and then do your song. I said, hell no. Hell no. And what distinguished me is I was breaking rules the whole time. I went out there, it's like, I'm not gonna be no clown. I'm gonna go up there, say my name, and start rapping. So I did exactly that. I was like, what's up? My name D Smoke, I'm from Inglewood. Hey, DJ Head, play it. And beyond that, the beats were like a minute and some change. 99% of the rappers used the first 8 bars as an intro. So meanwhile, in this competition setting, you got people that's like, okay, y'all ready for this?
That's a lot of time though.
Bro,
first 8 bars
take
for intro.
forever.
Y'all ready? Yeah, I got this. I'm from what's the name?
It's a judgmental space. Don't give them no, man. I wrote my verse so that when the beat hit, my shit come off on the upbeat. So it's like, if your throat clear and your lungs open and it's smoke that you need, 1, 2. He got hopes, fears, and a young focus. If you pull the thing, boy, gonna shoot. Went from broke years with the trunk open, selling tapes.
He
what
coming
we
right
do?
in. Ain't no
But
rap.
in 4 years, he graduated with his BA. Now whatever he say, translate. Nada me para bajo esta cara guapo tengo años. And they said it was a rap.
It was over.
4 bars of English. Switched to Spanish and the key word was now whatever he say, translate. Gone. Soon as I switched, Cardi's like, oh, the f just happened. Snoop is like, hold on, Snoop, and T.I., he gonna keep his cool, but you could just see it on his face.
This dude different.
And Moms was in the room. You know what I'm saying? Moms was in the room. Every time they let anybody in the room, she was in the room. And so I just remember the feeling of being like, if I could get these lyrics off, if I could get them off without forgetting, because they was fresh. I couldn't use stuff I already had because because it was set up to where you got to use they beats, it got to have a specific structure. So I was like, if I could get these lyrics off without forgetting it, when the lights come on and all that, I'm gonna be all right. So I finished that rap. I had minor stumbles, but I got through them. You know, they said all that they was gonna say, and you know, the Cardi was like, "Oh my God, I speak Spanish. You really know what you're saying? It's positive." And she was funny and showed me a lot of love. You know, Chance was like, "Man, you got like a mentorship kind of vibe," and he's like, "You come off like a teacher." I told him, "Yeah, I'm in the classroom." Then it got to Snoop, and then Snoop was like, "Hey, where you from, homie?" You know, and I was like, "I'm from Inglewood." He said, "No, where you from, homie?" I said, "I'm from Inglewood." And then he paused, dropped his little glasses, smiled at me like, "Nigga, you know, like you know."
Because he got the big
he like
what's name in Inglewood.
You know, it's another answer to that. Yeah. And the funny thing is, it is. But in those kind of moments, it's like, it's more so what do you stand for, right? I could tell you where I'm from, but you know, what does that matter? It's homies that they don't even need me to be like, I'm from West Side, this, that, and the other. And they like, nah, we got you either way. And so the whole city was proud because of the way I chose to approach that, because it lets the youngsters know it's a difference between being like, I'm from Inglewood and I don't get sir. You know what I'm saying? It's not a tuck. It's not a tail tuck. Yeah. It's not a tail tuck, but it's also like, look, bro, it's, you know, we don't even have, if you're giving them options. So all that said, you know, Snoop gave me the biggest nod I could ever have, like somebody from the West Coast being like, I respect how you handle that. You know what I'm saying? You didn't let me pull you into nothing negative, and you got my vote, homie. I want to see you go far. Boom. And after that, I was like, hey, look, if they vote me off, shit, we already had this moment. I'll be all right.
But I want to know, what did Mom Jackie say?
Mom said, she said, baby, you was head and shoulders above everybody that went. She said they wasn't even in your league. And it was because of her. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm up there doing what I seen her do. Mind you, my mom was a minister of music, but to say that, like, she's a worship leader, but to say that doesn't even do it justice. Like, she's like Kobe musically. Like, she's playing keys, directing the choir, and singing lead. And my mom had a voice like Whitney Houston, like, and brilliant. She toured before she had us. Even after she had us, we stayed with our grandma sometimes, toured, you know, had deals, all that stuff. Like, and my whole life, I wondered, like, dang, why ain't she as famous as CeCe Winans or you know what I'm saying, like, or you know, Whitney Houston, or, you know. And so when we up there, it's already like, it's something about somebody in your family being that great that lets you know, like, oh, that's in my bloodstream. It gives you a different confidence. So when I step up there, it's like, I'm not like them. I'm not gonna do no clown stuff. And I told the producers, because what I didn't say is the day before I performed for Snoop, I called the producer that was kind of courting me through the application process. And I was like, and her name is, well, I ain't gonna say her name. I told her I'm not gonna do it. And she was like, why, Smoke? Like, you gonna stand out. I said, I don't know what this is, and I don't want to be made to look like no fool. I'm not no reality TV star. Yeah. And she was like, look, the only thing we're gonna show of you is what you give us. If you give us clown, you're gonna look like a clown.
Say no more.
If you give us real, you're gonna look like a real one. And she was like, and to be honest, the show needs real ones. And I was like, all right, all y'all getting is these real moments. Yeah. I hid from the cameras. People was arguing backstage. I walk around the camera and look with the producers like, look at them being said. Like, I'm not messing with
hot, yeah.
You know, so, but it's always, every point of my journey, it's always somebody who's like guiding me through that. Like, I could have easily, Greg is the one that told me, like, go for it. Even when I was like, man, I'm gonna call them, I'm gonna call off. And when I said I was gonna do it, he supported it. He said, I think otherwise, but if that's what you wanna do, you know, we rocking with the long play. And he's like, but I think you should do it. When she said that, and then he reaffirmed, like, you can do this, bro. And we didn't know if it was gonna win, but we knew it was gonna be 100 million people watching it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and the rest is history, nigga. Around and won.
Now, when you sit back, it was really important for me to have you break down your journey for the people, because everybody think overnight.
Hell no.
And it's like you've been through so much to get here, and it's just for the person.
Homeless.
Homeless. All that.
Yeah.
It's for the person need to hear that. Like, only reason D here because he did not give up.
Right.
It wasn't no special. It wasn't no lookouts. It wasn't no plugs. It wasn't no cosign. It was just that he didn't give up. Now, when you talk about the new album, right? Wake Up Super, you got the tour coming. You know what I mean? Shout out to Subi, who's partnered up with you for the tour.
Big shout out
Soho.
to Subi.
If you don't know, listen, stop by. They got some of the illest. I'm talking about they got some of the illest drip up in here. You see him all, he already dripped out.
No.
So you know that he's gonna be on this tour.
Big shout out to Subi.
Subi's gonna have him on this tour, every city, fresh to death. Right. You know what I mean? But if you ever in New York, Soho, come and check him out. Now, when you was making this album, before you went into it, what was on your mind?
To be honest, well, part of the album was made. My mom was mad at me that So Good when me and PJ Morton didn't make War on Wonders. War on Wonders, I had 30 songs that I loved. You know what I'm saying? So that one was from the previous album, but the rest came afterwards. And I like to create music prior to, and maybe I'll do it differently the next go round, right?
Yeah.
I don't like to be like, all right, this is the name of the album. Now let's start making music. Like, nah, let's start making music. And as it starts to develop an identity, naturally, what is it that we have and what's gonna be this? But it's like when I'm going into the last 40% of the album, that's when I'm like, okay, here's the title. And these are the pieces that I need to bring it all the way together. But one of the songs that let me know the album is on its way to being ready was when I did Biscuits. And the thing about this album that's super special is it got me back to my roots in that I produced, I think 6 songs on there. You know, I produced Biscuits, I produced Count Your Blessings, I produced Frequency, I produced Jackie's Triumph, I produced Stomp, you know, and then co-produced something else. But I co-produced Fire, you know, and that was super important because I come from a family of composers. If you listen to Sir's music and the elaborate nature of the vocal arrangements, and we're actually engineering ourselves. So, like, I got one of my Grammy nominations.
I know for engineering.
Yeah, for engineering, yeah, because I engineered my own parts on Robert Glasper's album, and it got best engineered. You know, so I don't have to call nobody to keep it a buck.
That's like, not to cut you off, bro. To be able to sit there on a MacBook with some earphones and a mic,
crazy.
Anywhere, you could be in a hotel in Soho, you could be here, and to be able to engineer your own, like, you know how much of a cheat code that is?
It's the cheat. Really, to keep it a buck, I would venture to say it's the way of the future. If you are an artist, I'm gonna look in the camera. If you're an artist and you can't record yourself, take a step back and go to school, whether that's YouTube, whether that's your engineer friend, and learn how to record yourself and learn some things about mixing. Like, you get in with the top artists, they can tell you what very plugin is on their vocal chain. They could tell you what mic they're using. Like, they know. And so that's part of their process. You know, I started off on a Neumann TLM 103 mic and an Inbox. Now we on the, you know, the Duo, you know, so. But those things.
Is that the Sony?
No, that's the Apollo. Apollo Twin, not the Duo. Apollo Twin interface. But you know, we going through the UA, Universal Audio, you know, preamps.
Little box.
Yeah, you know. And so, but these things make your sound warm, your voice sound how it's supposed to be. You should know what plugins to put on there to bring your volume up and keep it crispy, you know, and that's stuff that, you know, me and Sir and even my brother Davion, to keep it a buck, Davion started this gangster, you know what I'm saying? And you know, this the thanks he get, you know. He was the first one to learn engineering and mixing and show us what's up, and he was the first one to get us publishing deals that got us songs placed and stuff. So, and that's my older brother, so it's always been a team sport, but gotta be able to, I can't wait for somebody every time I want to record. I do get into big studios, and I love working with the engineers because they be like, ooh, this sounds sweet from jump. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes my mixes have been dirty. You know what I'm saying? You could tell I was in the room because you could hear the cars driving by in the vocals, but it's part of the process of learning how to make your clean, you know.
How much do a studio cost?
Now a studio's far less expensive than it's ever been.
But how much, like, if you had a studio
from scratch,
right here on the joint, just in your backpack, like
laptop, let's say $2,000.
All right.
Mic,
you got to get any plugins in the laptop. What you got to get from Apple to put in there?
You have to, when you get the laptop, you want to get RAM.
Right.
You want to get max out the RAM. So you probably spend an extra $700. So let's say $2,700. You know. Then you got to get an interface. That's gonna be $1,000, $3,700.
That's the Apollo.
The Apollo Twin. If you get it used, you could get it for $500. So let's say $3,500, right? Take it down some, or 33. Then you need a mic. Let's say you spend $500 on a mic. You could spend $300 on a mic, but I would spend $1,000 on a mic, right? Let's say $4,300. Your cables is gonna be a good $200, and then your programs, let's say you spend $2,000 on programs. So you got $4,500 plus $6,000, $7,000. And if you're resourceful, you find all of that for less expensive than that. You get a used,
yep.
Get everything used.
That's $7,000.
It cuts it in half.
$3,500.
Get everything used because it's there. People are coming off studio equipment all the time. I had to. We didn't have to sell stuff, you know. And so you get it used, you get on, you know, not eBay, but eBay will have some stuff, or Craigslist. You get that stuff used, and I think anybody who's getting a studio might as well get a camera when they're getting it, a Canon something.
How important is the camera?
Extremely important.
Why?
Because if you're not putting visuals with your music, you're doing half the art. Like we're in a world where everything is visual. You know, so, and that's what's going to create an energy around your movement where they feel like the audience should feel like you're already headed there.
Okay.
They shouldn't feel like the artist is asking for their support. They should feel like this artist is taking them on a journey. So visuals are a major tool, you know, in making that happen. Or just be super dope with the iPhone. Maybe you don't get a camera. Maybe you get the newest iPhone, because nowadays, they be having crazy lenses on that, you know, and have the accessories to where you got smooth iPhone footage. There's people shooting feature films on iPhone. So, but as long as you have a mind to do consistent visuals, then you're on your way. You feel me? So, but free game, I don't know how that came up. But.
Yeah, I had to, because I love to give the audience the information necessary. Now, you know, the album out, the tour coming. Yeah. How do you feel? Album been out for a week. How do you feel knowing that you created something and you shared it with the world?
I feel good. It's an interesting place to be in, because I had to, after losing Mom, I had to recalibrate. Like, what do we do this for now? You know what I'm saying? A big part of it is like, oh man, my mom liked water, so she got to have a house on the lake with the boat. You know, because selfishly, it's funny, like when you master one stage in your life, that's when you get promoted to the next stage. When I learned how to live well as a teacher and balance and be in my right mind and stay grinding, but not up everything at the expense of this grind. When I found that balance, and I proved that I learned everything that stage in my life had to offer me, that's when I elevated, right? And so where I am now is like, I had to recalibrate so that I can make sure that I'm taking everything that this phase, learning everything that this phase of life has to offer me. You know, losing mom was huge. You know, watching Sir blow up time and time again. You know what I'm saying? And we're supportively competitive as brothers. You know what I'm saying? We be like, hey, yes, sir. But you know, I'm coming for you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
on
saying?
Your top, sir.
I'm on you though.
Sir,
you know, but hella supportively first. You know, and so but I feel good, and I had to realize that like when I'm in the mindset of when I reconnect with what I do it for and what effect I want my music to have. You know, this album is special in that I ain't gonna lie, Black Habits and Warren Wonders, I love them, but once I put them out, I felt like they belong to the people.
They ain't
it's not
yours
mine.
no more.
Not at all. This one is still mine. You know what I'm saying? And so I can listen to this one selfishly and feel like, for lack of a better word, it's ministering to me. You know what I'm saying? It's healing some things in me. And so I don't even know where I was going with that, but this album is special for that reason. And so as we're going into tour, I can sit with it for myself, or it helps me to reconnect with. When I listen to it, I realize that all the messages that I want people to get are in there. I'm reminded like, okay, if it's not for buying mom a house, it is for inspiring and affecting people positively. It is the same things that I would want my students to have when I was in the classroom. And, you know, remembering that fuels me, you know, because otherwise, you know, I'm competitive with my brothers, but I don't feel like I'm competing with the world. I feel like we got all the intangibles that people who might have more streams or might have bigger audiences, I feel like some of them look at us like, but what y'all doing is special. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not the same type of competitive. You know, Jay said men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And I understand the truth to it, but I also disagree. You know what I'm saying? Numbers can be misleading.
Numbers lie a lot these days because they can be manipulated.
Exactly. So it's like, I say that just to say I don't envy people because of what their numbers are. I know the value of what I'm doing. But it's a catch-22 because I gotta find motivation. If I did, some people are successful for like weird ass reasons. Yeah. They're competitive, they ain't healed the stuff in themselves, so they need the flash. I don't need none of that. Yeah. Like I'm content with life. So when I search for what's my reason, what's my why, I gotta reconnect with this music does for other people what Outkast music did for me at 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? It was like Outkast music told me you could be a hood kid, a ghetto kid, and a brilliant kid. You could be spiritual, you could be whatever, and gangster.
You could be a player.
At a player, you could have them, you know, that you could be on some fascinated by the way your nipple peek at me through your, you know.
You could be a hippie, you could be whatever.
Exactly, you know. And so in a Cadillac, you know, so that's why I keep going, because the music is serving its purpose. It reflects what I want it to represent, and I believe it's positive ultimately.
You make, like, before we get out of here, I got to touch on this, because you out here making intentional community investments. You got the boxing, Broadway. Well, how did that come about? I mean, I know you're 3-0. You ain't got to explain that. Don't explain that no more.
It is where I fought. It's where I trained. But no, Broadway is where I trained. And when I told you Cheers Pass, that's one of the first places I went to be like, I got a lot to process. You know, I lost my best friend, and you know, and it wasn't immediately that I put that next song out. It was like I had to figure out where I was at, you know, and so I just dove into boxing, and I started off sparring people that was way better than me, getting whooped,
getting beat down,
but hanging though, to where they were like, oh, this nigga got hard, you know. And then I developed a skill set, and I became that dude in the gym, to where people would come from other gyms, and the owner would be like, they would come from other gyms like, he got a fight coming up, he looking for some real sparring. And she would be like, fight Daniel. And I'm like, Miss, I would hear her say it before she asked me, like, fight him.
Why you set me up like that?
Like, yeah, what? But, you know, and all they buffness, all they angry face, I punch them right in, you know, like.
You go crazy.
But beyond that, what it meant to me, it meant that to everybody. Like, it was a developmental space. It was a safe space. It was gangsters from every hood in there, slapping fives, sparring, doing their stuff, laughing. And so it's just something to the community that's worth preserving. So when she passed, and then her son passed, it was just up for grabs and was about to be something different. And you know, we just took the opportunity, me, David Gross, and G Perico, to acquire the property and our, you know, we've done a soft opening, but are looking to continue to build for the grand opening where it's, you know, day in, day out. So, but beyond that, me and Sir have property abroad that we're looking to build a whole, you know, retreat center type space.
That's major.
AKA the family drug dealer getaway. You feel me? So, but just doing things so that whenever we done rapping, if we ever decide to hang it up, maybe I'm just gonna be like 60 talking about, you know, in West Side Inglewood, born and raised, you know. But whenever we decide that we need to take some time for ourselves, we have that space. You know what I'm saying? Because self-care is key. I'm saying I got to do something selfishly for our leaders, the game.
It's major. Shout out to G Perico and Dave Gross. They're my brothers right there. Good people.
Oh yeah, good people.
They good people now.
Yeah.
You got to tell me about your role in Mayor of Kingstown.
Yes.
Like, how did it come about? How did you get there? As you read your lines, or as you just freestyle? Like, give me the game.
So, Mayor of Kingstown, I have to shout out another mentor of mine, Tasha Smith.
Okay, shout out to Tasha Smith.
Incredible actress.
Oh, Tasha Smith, the actress.
Yes,
okay.
Incredible director.
Okay.
Yeah, like Tasha's just and a gangster too.
Okay.
Like she
always was a gangster in all her roles too.
Oh, for sure, for sure. From snatching the daughters up in ATL to all everything she did, you know. But again, she one of those people that when the camera's cut off, she'll pull you to the side, look you in your eyes, and in one breath she'll just be like, "You are great," and this and that, and trust yourself. And then in another breath she'll be like, "But don't slip up. Don't think these people ain't watching. Go get it." You know, like.
Yeah.
But Tasha, she called me. Matter of fact, she was one of the first people that I called when I won Rhythm and Flow. And she said, "And we gonna get you back into acting," because she got me into acting when I was 15 years old.
Oh, shout out to her.
So yeah, I was 13. I didn't book nothing until I was 15. Like, and I was auditioning 3 times a week for 2 years. Both my brothers was like,
damn.
Both my brothers was like, we give up. Like, this ain't for us. And I stuck with it and started booking. In high school, I was on Judge and Amy, CSI, the District, Boston Public. Yeah, I was working. And then took off for college. My manager was trying to send me on all these like Nickelodeon-esque auditions, and we just had differences. And I was like, look, I gotta read 3 books a week. So if you ain't sending me on stuff that I could book, like, stop sending me out. And she was like, look, either you serious about this or not. I was like, you talking to me like you the actor. Like, and I'm basically like, hey, look, how about we take this break? She was like, well, I can't promise you that when you come back, I'm gonna be there. I said, that's okay too. You know, so, and that was 20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? I graduated, I went to UCLA, graduated, did my stuff, went into teaching, and hadn't been acting other than what I'm doing in my own music videos and stuff.
Yeah.
But Tasha, she was directing episodes of Mayor of Kingstown, and she read the script and was like, called me and was like, little bro, I think it's a role in here for you. He's the cousin of one of the main characters, Bunny. His name is Raphael. He's a gangster. He's a Crip. I said, Tasha, wait, hold on. I said, Tasha, wait, I'm from Inglewood. Like, hey, Tosh, hey, whoa, you know.
But this is real acting.
And she's like, he's a Crip, but he's involved in this, but he's also shows leadership qualities, and there's room for his role to grow, right? So I was like, I told the directors, like, look, he can be, in the name of authenticity, he can be Bunny's cousin, this major Crip in the city, without necessarily leaning the Crip direction. It actually limits his character because it makes him look like just one of the minions. Whereas I got cousins from Long Beach where three of the brothers are Crips and one is a Blood because when they went to foster care, they was in different hoods. So I'm like, and not that I need to be a Blood or a Crip, but if we leave my character ambiguous, then it gives him his own arc and y'all can take it wherever it goes. So that's the approach I took. I was like, as long as I'm not on there like super leaning into that, then it won't feel on the nose.
Yeah.
They trusted me with that. They was like, cool. So you won't catch my character being like, like a lot of the other ones are, but it's more, it allows the audience to focus on the love between me and my cousin, which turns into gangster shit anyway.
Yeah.
So Raphael locked up, we don't know what he's locked up for, but you just know he's just got this heart, which makes him a major target in the prison, because to everybody that's on the opposite side of the train track, so to speak, I'm a threat, so they just trusted me with so much content. They allowed me to lean into the gangster while adding some truth to the nuances of any human being. Like, okay, he loves to cook, he loves his family, he talks about his memories in the home. He ends up sharing a cell with, without saying too much, with his cousin, to where you can see that camaraderie and you care about him more. So then when the fight breaks out, you're like, oh no, not, hoping that he makes it, but everything that I want to do in acting, I've done a little bit of that in Mayor of Kingstown, from the drama to the fun, laughing it off, to leaning into music, to like I played live music on the show. I ain't gonna say when, but that character on several occasions was like, they showed his other sides to action. I'm doing my own stunts and stuff. Yeah. Elbow pass, chest pass, back, scrapping. So even all the martial arts, shout out to the stunt team and teaching me the chamber high, exaggerating those movements. If you kicking, don't just pull that high, and so, but the writing on the show is something worth mentioning, because it's just what they're able to do with the characters and what they trusted me to do was something super special. So make sure y'all look out for season 4 of Mayor of Kingstown, October 26th.
Check it out. Before we get out of here, I just want to know one last question. How is it working with Snoop D-O-double-G?
Hey, working with Snoop.
And then being on death row.
Yes, sir. Working with Snoop Dogg, it's one of the most rewarding aspects of my career right now. Like Snoop is as epic behind closed doors as he is in the public eye. What's most impressive about Snoop is that at any one point in time, it's 1 million people trying to reach him. It's $100 million on the table at any point in time that he could either accept or decline if he wants to. But when he's with a person, he's extremely present and genuine. Like when he came to Inglewood, he got one security guard, but they not circling him. He out in front. And we shot Gasparianga on Queen Street in Inglewood, and the Bloods was out deep. And he like, what's up, y'all? Come say what up. I got the food truck. He brought the food truck to my video shoot to feed the block. The cast and crew was taken care of. We had craft services. Yeah. But he said, nah, we pay for, and it's a black-owned truck. He's like, we pay for Trap Kitchen.
Kitchen, shout out to Trap Kitchen.
Shout out to Trap Kitchen.
Brothers over
Something
there.
I never asked him to do. He brought Trap Kitchen out, fed the block, took pictures with everybody when we wasn't filming. Showed up, pulled me into the Sprinter van and was like, look, nephew, I'm gonna show you how to secure your legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like, beyond this music stuff, like, just watch. This is long before we ever decided to go death row. So we had done business. I wrote his Spanish verses on Banda MS.
Okay.
It's 6 times platinum now, you know what I'm saying? So he's like, y aunque soy tu hombre, todavía soy amigo. Like, the funniest studio session I've ever been in by far was coaching Snoop on rapping Spanish verses. Like he's has no filter, has no shame. But that's a lesson too. Like he'll butcher a Spanish line, laugh it off, and be like, let's go again, let's go again, let's go again. So he has a way of showing up for the work day in, day out.
Yeah.
And to him, he don't take it too seriously, but he takes it the perfect amount. It's like serious enough to get it right, not too serious to beat himself up when he make a mistake. He just in stride. So it's just like, it's like watching Kobe play basketball, you know what I'm saying? And it's basketball, in this case, is not just rapping, it's rapping, being an executive, being a brand, like a global, he's one of the most like top 5 famous people in the world.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, and Beyonce's crazy famous and a huge star, but globally, it's like there's no place where they don't know Snoop Dogg. In every language, they're gonna be like, Snoop Dogg. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so, just an incredible example of, and at the same time, a father. You know what I'm saying? A father, husband. You know, so it's just it's dope to be in his presence and see that he and I have similarities. That's a reward. You know what I'm saying? You're like, okay, cool. I'm doing all right. Like my uncle, just like you said, I didn't quit. The best advice I ever got was keep going.
But listen, man, I just want to salute you, man. Thank you for sharing all your good energy. Thank you for sharing your story to the world. And just sharing that passion that your mom gave you with everybody else to see it. And your art is amazing. You're a great brother. Thank you for what you do for the community. I want you to go out on this tour and kill it. Stay out the gym, possible. Like, don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, not during tour. I don't want no black eyes.
Stay out the gym. Stay out the gym, but we appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you for being.
Appreciate you,
man.
Yes, sir.
This is another episode of Where's Wallo, man. We signing off, man. We out here, man. Subi, Soho, D-Smoke, the new album, the tour coming, the book coming next year. Tap in, Vivid Isaiah, tap in. Where's Wallo?